$30,000. That's the exact audit we use to show a business owner precisely where AI fits into the operation before a single tool or investment was made into any AI software. And by the end of this video, I'm literally going to pull back the curtains and reveal the 3-step audit breakdown that you can literally steal for your business right after watching this video to understand exactly the biggest bottlenecks in your own operation that's costing you the most right now in terms of both time and money. You'll also be able to use this audit to know which fix to tackle first inside your operations, and finally know the real number that tells you whether it's even worth investing in an AI system right now or keep going the exact route you are with your human employees. Over the last 2 years, we actually ran this exact audit breakdown for over 10 plus businesses across 5 different industries. And in today's video, I'm literally going to give it to you so you can literally apply it to your own operations after watching this video. But before we get into the actual breakdown of the audit process for your business, I want you to drop a like and leave a comment with the word yes if you have spent the last week at least like 10 hours watching these AI gurus tell you that Claude has killed marketing agencies or ad agencies, or that ChatGPT can literally run your entire lead generation for you. Maybe you haven't tried some of these things that they're talking about, but the real question that nobody ever mentioned was that which of these AI tools actually fits your specific business operations. Because yeah, sure, they work on a YouTube video or for some of the other competitors, but does it actually make sense for you to input this tool or this system or this automation for your specific business based on how it's running on a day-to-day basis? That's what this audit and this video is actually going to answer. As you can see from the stats over here, 80% of all AI projects fail to deliver real value. And this is a number that I just did not pull out of my head. It's actually a number cited by Rand Corporation with over 2,400 plus enterprise initiatives. Not because the tech doesn't work, but because nobody ever mapped out the business first. So you're not behind in this whole AI wave because you're bad at using AI, you're not very tech savvy. Nobody's shown you exactly where to look for the right AI systems and tools for your specific operations. And that's exactly why I created this video, to pull back the curtains and reveal the exact business audit that me and my brother run for all these businesses for the last 2 years to exactly break down whether it's even worth investing in AI to begin with. Now, here's the difference between guessing versus actually mapping and auditing your business, because this is the part that nobody talks about online. Business owners describe the business the way they think it runs, and the employees describe it the way it actually runs on a day-to-day basis. So those two versions are almost never the same, and the gap between them is exactly where the money is. So as you can see from this flowchart on the screen, if you skip straight to picking a tool right away, you're solving the problem the owner think or assumes exists. And if you map the business first, you actually find the problem that's actually costing you the money and then fixing that exact problem. So what does mapping the business actually look like for your specific operations? Let's break it down with an example. And I'm using a hypothetical business that I made up over here to keep real client names and numbers private, but the process and the audit breakdown is exactly the same for how we run it for our clients. Okay, let's call our demo fake business Coastal Comfort Home Services. So they are an HVAC, they do plumbing and electrical services. They have about like 38 employees. They made about 5.2 million in annual revenue, 14 years in operation. However, growth has been flat for the past 2 years. So now we're actually getting to the actual source of the video. Step number 1 of the audit breakdown out of the 3 is diagnosing your business. So like a doctor, you're going to analyze exactly where in your business there's a leakage. So you're not just going to blindly just pick a tool and then try to fix the problem. You're going to ask yourself these key questions, which I'm going to reveal in the next slide. But these set of questions are going to go through 2 sets of groups. The first group is for round 1, which is pretty much for the stakeholders, leaders, and managers. And step number 2 is the group that falls into the category of employees and people on the floor who are actually in your day-to-day operations performing the task that needs to be done. All right, so on this slide, you can see at least 14 crucial questions that we typically ask the stakeholders. Of course, there's quite a bit of them because each discovery call or interview typically runs for 45 minutes and like 2 to 3 days depending on the company size. But these are just some of the questions to keep you give you an idea of exactly what discovery and diagnosing your business actually entails. So 4 questions could potentially be like, what's the biggest bottleneck you think is slowing your business down right now? Where do you believe you are losing money right now? What's the one thing that if fixed overnight would change everything for your team? And finally, number 4, what have you already tried that didn't work and why do you think it failed? So all these kind of questions are very analytical, critical. That's going to get you thinking about exactly why your business is stuck for the last 2 years, where it could potentially grow. So it identifies all those gaps and leakages. Okay, so now we have a totally different set of questions for the employees. Remember I said we asked two different set of questions for two different groups, the stakeholders and managers and the employees and the workers on the actual floor doing the work. So just to be clear, these questions are not going to be framed as in a way that's going to scare them off, that AI is going to replace their job. So these questions, the goal is pretty much to find what's eating their time on the stuff that isn't actually their job, from like the paperwork, the admin work, the re-entry, the chasing. So they can literally spend more of the day doing the work, part of the work that actually needs a person, like customer interaction and service. So frame that way, people more often than not tend to tell you the truth. Framed as if you're looking for what to automate and replace your job, they hide the real problems because they are worried about their own role, which makes complete sense. So four different questions, for example, for this particular group would be, walk me through your actual day from start to finish. Number two would be, what's the most repetitive, time consuming part of your job? Number three, what falls through the cracks that leadership doesn't see? And number four, if you could fix one thing about how information moves through the company, what would it be? And again, just based on research and compiling some data and conversations from people actually in this field in the past with clients, some of the dispatchers say they actually spend 3 hours a day, manually overriding the scheduling software because they don't trust it. Technicians said they write job notes on paper and re-enter everything by hand by the end of the day, and sometimes full day or two later. And finally, estimators said at least 4 out of every 10 codes get zero responses, goes silent, and follow up only happens if someone actually remembers it. Okay, so that was step number one, which is pretty much diagnosing your company's key problems and understanding exactly where the gaps are, where the leakages are at two different levels. The main hub, which is the stakeholders and the managers and the leadership hub, and the bottom floor, which is pretty much the operation level where things are actually getting executed and implemented. Step number two, as you can see from the screen, it's actually finding where AI fits in. So this is all about prioritization. You need to understand, okay, out of all these problems, which is actually worth fixing right now, which can wait, and where does actually AI fit in and make more sense to come in right now to help me. So it's all about the highest impact, the highest ROI in the shortest amount of time possible with the amount of revenue that you're actually making to get the quickest wins possible. So again, this is based on two different criteria, as you can see over here: time and cost factor and the adoption factor. So in terms of the time and cost factor, we have how much is it actually costing the business right now in hours and dollars. And second, with the adoption factor, we have not how hard it's actually for us to build as a team, so the deployment, but what would it actually take for your team and your employees in their day-to-day operations to adopt this change and how they actually work. Okay, so going back to example of a coastal comfort HVAC client, plumbing and electrical services, running every problem through those two questions turn into 10 possible AI systems, from an AI voice call agent to catch the calls from going into voicemail after hours, to automated code follow-ups, and finally to a full dispatch rebuild using live GPS data. Remember, as I said, step two is all about prioritization and sorting and categorization. We sort all of this into three traffic light signals. So you can see green, yellow, and red on the screen. So green pretty much means low effort and high impact. So these are pretty much your quick wins in your company. So the stuff you fix first because it's fast and it moves the needle immediately. Yellow, it means it still matters, but it takes more planning on a bigger lift to pull off. You're building towards it probably in your next quarter, but not right away in the next 2 weeks. And the red one is you're pretty much going to be building it later. It's more of a long-term game. It's more high effort and high impact structural fixes. So the ones that pay off the most, but only once the foundation from the list from the first two zones is already in place. So that's the whole purpose of step number two, which is prioritization. It's not about finding the cool AI fixes and solving the problem right away. It's about knowing exactly what is worth to fix first, that's going to have the highest ROI in the shortest time possible. Okay, finally we reach step number 3 out of 3 in this audit breakdown for your business. Is it actually worth implementing the AI system or can it wait? So let's take a look. Now here's where it all comes together. We're actually only looking at the green zone, as you can see from the slide in this particular example. And here's why. These are the systems where the cost to build is lowest and the payoff is the highest. So quick win and high impact, which means they're the ones the business should always tackle first before touching anything that takes longer to prove out. If the green zone doesn't show a real return, there's no reason to even look at the bigger, more expensive bills. Okay, so going back to example again of the coastal comfort HVAC services, let's look at one of the problems, which is the code follow-up problem. Right now, which you can see, so right now, 6 months from now, and with the follow-up AI system implemented, right now, 4 out of every 10 codes go with no response, go silent with no follow-ups. And 6 months from now, if nothing changes, that's the same lost revenue repeating every single month. It's not compounding. It's compounding every single month. It's not improving. So with the automated follow-up system in place at day 1, day 3, day 7, and again at day 14, that close rate can literally move from 22% up to 30% with changing all those cold leads to warm, nurtured, engaged leads. That's close to at least like $9,000 a year in combined time saved and revenue recovered for a system that cost only like $2,500 to build and roughly $250 per month to run. And again, we're still on the green bubble, the green zone, because I told you that's the one with the quick wins and highest ROI. But the second problem in the green zone was the job notes problem. Right now, if you look at the first gray area, 27 hours a week firm wide I spend writing something down on paper and typing it again later. 6 months from now, again, it's going to be completely unchanged if nothing is fixed in the operation. No point hiring more staff, no point like changing the workflow. That's still 27 hours of work every week forever. Now with adopting an AI system like the voice to text that auto syncs to their existing software, that drops by at least 3/4, assuming close to $40,000 a year in time saved for something that costs roughly $14,000 to build. So we do this pretty much for every finding in the green zone, yellow zone, and red zone. So what's happening right now? What happens if nothing changes 6 to 12 months from now? And then what happens when AI is in place? And then we put all that data together. So every system side by side for Coastal Comfort's full 10 systems, we have like at least you can see 90.5 hours a week saved, close to $125,000 a year in direct savings, and another $86,000 in annual recurring revenue against a $96,000 build cost. So there's a lot of math involved in actually putting this data together. So these numbers come from the initial first step of asking those key critical questions, understanding the diagnosis of the business. So that step cannot be skipped. And there's a lot of formulas and math involved in actually compiling this data. Again, I know this is hypothetical, but this is the sort of things that we do on the back end to ensure that the ROI is clearly evident in how much time and revenue it's going to save and bring you as well in the next 3 to 6 months, because it has to be clearly evident and measurable. So the table, this whole table which you're seeing right now, it's not a sales pitch, it's the whole point of the audit. So everything that we're doing from step 1, 2, 3 is to get to this stage. It's only used to answer one question. Is this actually worth doing right now? Is it actually worth investing in the AI tool or the AI system or the agent? Or should you keep doing exactly what you're doing right now for the next 6 to 12 months? And there you have it, guys. This is the exact $30,000 audit process that we run for our clients before we ever even get to the deployment stage of building an AI system, because you need to first understand, go from discovery, finding the real problems like a doctor as to why there's the leakages and what problems and gaps are there in the business. Then you go to the prioritization stage. We know exactly what to fix first, what can wait, what can literally give a highest impact in the shortest time possible. So a quick win. And finally, number 3, we put them all together to determine the ROI. Is it actually worth the investment right now, or you can continue down the current path? So all these 3 work hand in hand together to give you your full audit breakdown before even going to the deployment stage. So now you know what an audit for your own business would actually look like. And if you want to see what the actual builds look like once you move past the audit stage, you can check out the link in the description for a whole video on how the different AI systems get deployed into your business. And finally, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like. And if you want your business to have its own AI brain, where every one of these opportunities are mapped out specifically for your operations to know which AI tool meets your operations criteria, check out the first link in the description below to chat with our team to get your business audited, to work with us, and to ensure that you are not behind in this new AI wave. Thank you, and I'll see you guys next time's video. Cheers.